We have Cathy Molinaro and Nazaret Perez-Nieto from the School of Modern Languages of Cardiff University, both senior lecturers, Cathy in French and Nazaret in Spanish. Cathy is also the Deputy Director for Teaching and Learning, and is also leading the projects of activities on AI. And the presentation today is actually on how we can challenge or can use AI to support and enhance learning rather than hinder learning. So over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to change glasses now, as it needs to be done. So it's been a great day so far. We're going to do a little presentation to you on something we've worked on together. But the first thing is we're not usually only the two of us. We have a third musketeer, and he's not here today, but we hope his big picture will make his presence felt all the way from Italy. And some of you will already know him. So today's presentation, what it's going to be about, we're going to give a, kind of talk very quickly about the context and AI in higher education. We don't need to kind of go on. You all know about it, fortunately or unfortunately. We're going to present to you our project. We're going to give you an overview, our results, what we decided to do, and how this will inform, if you want, the future, not just for us as the School of Modern Languages, but hopefully for everybody, including the students.
Okay, over to me, I suppose. So the context, we know that institutionally and also students have this expectation that AI has to be sort of incorporated into our teaching. So we have to sort of navigate those pressures. Obviously, we're going to do this together, hopefully, which means that there's an expectation, again, institutionally and from students, that AI is incorporated. So this is sort of the broader picture, but looking more into our own context in the School of Modern Languages, and I'm sure most of you can relate to this as well. This is not unique to us. We have seen the impact of the rise of artificial intelligence. Students are relying more and more on these tools to produce their work, and we have to find ways of understanding why this is happening and how they are using AI. So this is also having an impact on assessment, particularly on assessment that we don't have control on, for instance, coursework, where students have access to resources, they can submit from home, from anywhere really, and this brings us to our question of the integrity of the work. And on top of that, we don't have the tools currently, or they're really weak detection tools to allow us to identify whether a piece of work has been produced by AI or not, as has been mentioned previously in previous presentations as well. And obviously, there is another added issue for us, which is we don't have definite guidelines on the relation between AI and assessments, or the use of AI more broadly in our institution. So we are in this gray area in which we don't really know what we can do, what students can do, and what is acceptable or not. So on this last note, these questions, we are hoping that our project can help give an answer to those questions posed. We would like to emphasize that this project to us is really important, because the key element here is working with students. So we are not going to deal with this issue just on our own stuff, but it's about having that conversation with our students. So in order to facilitate that, what we've done so far is, well, sort of split the project into 3 different parts. We created and disseminated a survey to our Year 2 students in French, Spanish, and Italian. And we gather their perceptions and usage of AI. And then the second part of our project is more centered on a reflective workshop, where we gave students sort of a platform to be able to discuss in detail some of the key discoveries that we found in the survey, but also to give that sort of freedom, space to be able to explain a bit more in detail how they're using AI and the challenges they're experiencing. And lastly, we had a practical workshop. This practical workshop was teachers-led, and we wanted to give something back to our students and work with them using different tools on how to use AI in an integral and ethical manner.
So, as was that, sorry, I need to do that from time to time. I can't. And now I can't see the board. That's all right. Okay, so we had quite a wide range or wide spectrum of questions for our students for our survey, but basically it was in 3 parts. So the students' perceptions itself, what are they using AI? Do they feel they can use AI? What sort of tools they used as well, and how they felt about us as educators integrating the use of AI in the classroom, but also further in the assessment. So here are the results of our survey. We're going to go quite quickly because we only have 15 minutes, unfortunately. So the first part was really which tools they were using. You've got the things there. I'm letting you kind of look at them. So which tools they were using. We were also interested in understanding which language they used to use AI. Did they use the target language, or did they use English and then try and translate? You know, that kind of stuff. Do they actually make good use of AI tools? What they used it for was also interesting to us. Essays was maybe not, you know, a surprise, put it this way, but also what they thought they could use it for that would help with their learning. Then we also asked them about how AI tools could improve their learning. We also asked a question about whether they would pay for it. So strangely enough, they wouldn't, but just saying, we're one step ahead if we're paying for it. Just keep that in mind. They're not keen on paying. We also wanted to see if they thought we should use them as educators. And there were some comments that were quite interesting. So you probably can't see them, but I'll try that. No, it's still back. Sorry. I'm going to try and read them.
Yeah.
You
want to stop?
Just a minute. I don't believe they should be encouraged for content of assessment, however, could be integrated into constructive research in class. Okay? And then you had others saying, I think they should become normalized, which we'll come back to later, and less of a taboo subject, as so many people use them, and I think they are the future. So we need to keep that in mind. We can't ignore AI tools. They will not go away, and students will use them. It's how we approach that that's going to be important. And their attitude to the impact on academic integrity was also rather interesting to us. Most of them thought it had a negative impact. So they are aware of the limitations of AI. And strangely enough, because they use so many tools, they don't really know what's happening. They are aware of the attitude of the, they have concerns about the use of their data when using AI tools. And personally, I didn't think they would even think about it, given that they use so many tools and so many TikToks and things. But they do, actually. I would like to leave you with this quote. I don't know if you can see it. Because I thought that kind of encapsulated everything we needed to know. I think that it makes work less genuine, with less heart, and that AI will never be able to replicate the care and passion that goes into academia. So, students use AI. Do they love it as much as we think they love it? Probably not. So that helped us to kind of frame the reflective workshop we then run with the students.
So this reflective workshop was focused on 6 areas. I'm going to sort of describe to you the most important outcomes of this session. And we split it into, three themes. The first one was confidence, so how AI could boost their language learning. And it was surprising to see that even though most of students can see the advantages of using AI, they were also very critical about its limitations and the inaccuracies of using these tools. They were really keen on using these tools, for instance, for grammar and explanation of complex concepts. But I think it's important also to point out that they believe that AI is a supplement to the traditional sort of learning approach that we have in place at the moment. So they don't see AI as a substitute of our teaching practice. In terms of AI tools, well, the majority seem to be very keen on using the AI for translation work in particular, but also other tools were mentioned. ChatGPT comes as no surprise, Quizlet Plus, Reverso, and Snapchat AI. Particularly, I didn't know, Snapchat had like an option and anything, so it was interesting to see as well. In terms of group work, so we discussed whether they were more keen to use it for group work or independent work, and they stated that independent work would be their priority, so they would like to use it more for independent study. However, they acknowledged also the benefits of using it for prompting or presentation preparation, brainstorming for group presentations, for instance. In terms of activities, they were really keen on using AI for more creative activities, such as games or extra activities for grammar points, translation, etc. They also mentioned that being able to work with exercises to identify AI errors and how to use prompting effectively could be beneficial. For translation work, but also for conversation. I thought that was really interesting as well. We thought that. Mm-hmm. And in terms of AI and assessment, they see these tools as sort of facilitators of practice, but not as a replacement of obviously their own work. So they see, for instance, how AI could be used for grammar or gap filling exercises, spelling tests, planning structure of essays, etc. In terms of integrity training, they were really, really keen to have training sessions. And then, but they were very clear about what they want to be able to do and not to do. So they want maybe to have someone to check on these points instead of having information just displayed in the university intranet, and maybe having some pointers on module handouts. Yeah, in terms of practical workshops, so we had a session with them with different tools to practice all language skills, and this was again a teacher-led. And what was this? Oh yeah, sorry for all the skills. Yeah, so we practice conversation, writing, etc. with different tools. So feedback from the practical workshop. We asked the students just to rank from 0 to 5 how they felt about this practical workshop that we had last. And as you can see, results are quite positive. Same for the questions, if they are more likely to use AI more regularly, in a better way, meaning in a more ethical way, as a have a revision or to practice on their own time. Lastly, in terms of how they feel about helping us or helping each other to co-create guidelines on AI for language learning and assessments, overwhelmingly, 100% of students were keen, but some not too much, depending on time constraints, let's say.
So I'm going to rush through the last few things. What's next, and what do we take from this, and what can we do from this? So the first thing is, we all need to approach maybe AI tools in the classroom to make sure that we integrate it into our teaching and learning and show students that it is a great help and never a substitute for a real person. We also have decided, and I'm going to show you after, decided to have a collaborative approach with students. We're going to work with them on guidelines on how to use and not to use AI outside the classroom for assessment, for everything, etc. But that is not just about us and students, it's about also our colleagues and students, and it's also about all of you in higher education and us and students. So the idea would really be, from this project, trying to have a big collaborative approach at many levels. So for example, just to show you what we would like to do with students, we would like to, this is just an example, there's loads of things depending on what module you're going to use, to have basically guidelines, what you can use it for, what you can't use it for, what it's good for, what it's not good for, and work with students over the summer. We've decided to create something like this. And this is the conclusion, and we will take questions later because we don't have any more time. Thank you.